All right, today we have the very smooth Chad Edie of Frost Valuations. Take that as you will. Chad has been an evaluator for 10 years and has mentioned in his weekly presentation that Frost adds extra value to their clients as they complete their work, and they provide information that typical traditional appraisal reports just don't give. Chad is a St. Albert native where he still lives with his wife, Dallas, where they share a home with their roommate, Sadie. I'm assuming that's the pet dog. He's, from what I gathered, he's an avid hunter as well. He enjoys many sports like slow pitch and golf. Chad and Dallas have actually put in 25 rounds of golf this year, so I think he was pretty reserved. He didn't chirp me when my shot didn't hit the green on his hole, so I appreciate that. Something that you don't know about Chad is he's a fellow woodpecker, and what I mean by that, he enjoys woodworking. He's made various coffee tables, side tables, chairs for himself, friends, and family. And other than that, I will pass it over to Chad.
Hello. Thanks, Kyle. Good afternoon, BNI Apex. I'm Chad Edie. I'm a real estate appraiser with Frost Valuations. There we go. A little bit about myself, members. If you haven't connected with me yet, as Kyle said, my wife and I live in St. Albert, Dallas, and our dog Sadie. I'm still working on Sadie's report writing skills, as she's a little bit of a bias towards properties that back a dog park. So growing up, I played multiple sports and loved the team environment that sports provided. This has carried on into my professional career with Frost Valuations. They provided me with an opportunity to grow as an appraiser and become a valued member of their team. When I'm not completing appraisal reports, I'm still active in playing slow pitch, golfing, hunting, fishing. Thankfully, my wife also enjoys those activities, as Kyle mentioned. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be enjoying it when she starts beating me at golf, so better keep practicing. Last year, we were finally able to get away, and we had some fun in the sun in Cabo. We still spend many weekends out at her family farm, giving her dad a hand there. And I'm happy to report my woodworking skills have now graduated to wedding arches, which hopefully all my friends are married now and won't need any more wedding arches in the future. Some crafts for their wives and stuff too. So Frost Valuations was originally founded in 1988 and at the time was primarily focused on residential and commercial appraisals. Our company changed their name to Frost Valuations in 2021, and this was to reflect our expanded services in business valuation as well as equipment valuation. Our knowledge of the real estate market has really helped in this transition. So our team's over 20 appraisers and support staff. This helps us with multifaceted problems, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So our machinery and our equipment valuations division equipment appraisers are also members in good standing with the Appraisal Institute of Canada. This helps with when we're doing deals with financing, leaseholds, partnership disputes and buyouts, estate settlement, tax planning, and internal decision making. Our machinery equipment valuations department really focuses on restaurants and liquor stores or anything with a lot of inventory and equipment. Heavy construction companies are also a big good referral for them. Our business valuators, we're fortunate to have a chartered business valuator on our staff. His name is Vince Gervais. He's a partner with us. We do lots of medium-sized businesses. The most fun one I just did with Vince was actually a rural golf course that we had to value a RV site and the golf course, and then our equipment team got involved too with all the carts and vending and restaurant equipment within the complex as well. So Vince is great, and he loves working with business brokers, lawyers, small accounting firms, partnerships, and other business owners. So when you need a real estate appraisal, usually when you're renovating, buying, or selling a property, financing, or refinancing, the big ones. And of course, I'll skip through a bunch of these, but estate matters and divorce are great referrals for us for BNI. Typically, the buying and renovating, that's usually through mortgage broker, who we're always happy to be mortgage brokers. So let's talk about some complex property appraisals. So this is a 100-year-old converted single-family home to a rooming house that is actually zoned commercial that I did an appraisal on. And as you can see, it's got two lovely buildings beside it. So the first thing we have to do is establish the highest and best use, which is the reasonable and probable use of the property that will support the highest present value at the date of the appraisal. So in this, we have to focus on is the current use legally permissible? The zoning, building codes, environmental regulations, statutory plans, neighborhood development regulations, and other factors that have to be examined. Then is it physically possible? Obviously, that building standing there physically, you can build it. The size, the area, topography, shape, utilities, services, all must be examined. Financially feasible. If you meet the first two criteria, does it make sense to build that building or to have that structure there? Maximally productive. Is the use the highest and best use and the best use of the resources to maintain it? So consideration must be brought onto additional effects such as assemble, like if we should be able to assemble the site. In this case, it was surrounded by two completed apartment buildings, so it made no sense for assemblage. And subdivision, it's already maximum. It's only a 33-foot wide lot, so we can subdivide it further. Public and private improvements. There's no overlays or intended things in the area. Personal property is generally not included unless it's a going concern and things like a hotel. So that's out of that one. And then current zoning, this was zoned commercial, even though it was operating as a residential rooming house. So it is likely to be rezoned, especially with the surrounding properties. And some of the other physical characteristics of the property were obviously considered, including the fact that it only had an estimated 20 years of remaining economic life. It was originally built in 1917. So I don't know how much longer that structure is going to stand for, but it's not substantial. We estimated it at 20 years, assuming ongoing aggressive maintenance. So this is a look in the financials on the property. So this is curing that it is financially feasible, and some comparables showing that there is a demand for the financial feasibility. Commercial land sales, typically if it's close to being land value versus improved value, I will throw in a commercial land sale chart there too, but in this case, the commercial land value was so much lower, especially with the small site size, that it wasn't included. So the highest and best use conclusion was that the existing, even though it was non-conforming, was reasonably the highest and best use. And as if vacant, the site's best use would be a small commercial building. The property is valued for its current use. However, this the limited remaining economic life and non-conforming use limited the owner's ability to obtain conventional financing. So Mike's not here today, but basically what happens with a mortgage lender is they will only lend an amortization period of 5 years less than the economic life. So at 20 years remaining economic life, you'd only be able to get a 15-year mortgage on this property. And yeah, that was the biggest issue with the complex. And some good referrals for me would be mortgage brokers, lawyers, accountants, realtors, property managers, home builders. And we'll skip down to divorcees and remind everybody not to forget their wedding date. And is there any questions? I kind of flew through that. Sorry, everybody. I was trying to read off my sheet and take my time, but any questions for me?
Chad, are business brokers good for you? Like if you're doing the assessment on something like that, and if they're the ones that are brokering a deal, do they pull you in or?
So typically we do deal with business brokers. It's more on the equipment side. It tends to be because we can do the leasehold improvements as well as the equipment inside the business. Generally with the business brokers, there's a lot of equipment involved. But yes, we do the appraisals for them as well. Like we've worked closely with Sunbelt before and done a lot of stuff for them. Anybody else?
Got time for one more question, guys. Anybody?
So I missed the subject of this evaluation. Was it because someone was looking to sell this property, or the lender said there's something fishy about this?
It was a potential sale, and they were trying to get conventional mortgage financing. The other part about it being zoned commercial is it restricted that they could only get commercial financing. They couldn't use, because lots of the multifamily product, you can get a special residential financing. So the deal didn't go through, not because of the value was a value issue. It was a zoning and ability to finance it issue. It was also super lovely, and the 10 rooms shared one bathroom with a clawfoot tub on the main floor.
Do you see a lot of that? Like just kind of like
weird little residential things kind of in different types of zones?
On properties like that, yeah, there's in central Edmonton, there's a lot of curious uses, we'll call it.
All right, awesome. Let's get a round of applause for Chad for an awesome presentation. Thanks, Chad. Definitely recommend booking a follow-up one-to-one to ask him any other questions about appraisals. It's a wild world, I think, for anyone who doesn't do it every day.
BNI starts now. BNI starts now. Like everyone says it.
Are we all saying it? I'm confused.
What are you saying now?
Do we all say BNI?
Oh, terrible. Yeah.
Starts meow.
Now.
Do you want
You
us to
say
say
it.
BNI?
Say it more casually. Like
Yeah.
we're not trying to rehearse the most impossible phrase in the world.
Now.
Oh,
BNI
starts now.
Oh.
BNI
starts
starts
now.
now.
What was the best one yet?